Welcome to the ceremony. We're here on Mondays and Thursdays. We are bringing unfailingly stories from the light. Go ahead.
Making sure we do something that's uplifting. Opens up possibility in this dark time. And I was looking at Rav Kook and what he said about this week's Torah portion.
That's good.
Yeah. So one of the things he noticed is that when Moses, it's all about building the tabernacle, right? And when God says to Moses, tell Bezalel, the artist, to build the tabernacle, the ark, and the vessel. But when Moses tells it to Bezalel, he says the vessel, the ark, and the tabernacle.
Okay.
And Bezalel, because, he says, well, that makes no sense. Why? And he assumed that Moses changed the order because he says, if I make the vessel and the ark before I make the tabernacle, I'll have no place to put them. But so Rav Kook does a whole thing on the difference between a scholar and an artist.
Oh.
And how you need both, and it's not right or wrong, but that they're different. The scholar wants to get at truth. The artist wants to get at beauty.
Keats.
And they're both necessary.
Beauty, truth, truth, beauty. That's
but
all you know.
Then Rav Kook ends by saying, it's okay to start with the tabernacle first because it's the outer, and you always want to go from the outer to the inner.
Well, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And I feel that that's true for a lot of things. You have to start with the outer.
Yes. Go within. Yeah, that's interesting.
To go within. And
Emerson. Yeah.
So that was what I learned from Rav Kook.
I'm going to read you something you're going to appreciate.
Okay.
Also from Rav Kook. Close your eyes. The heart feels a knocking, a spiritual knocking, a new and noble thought, listening to the voice of an angel. An angel of God come knocking on the doors of our soul. Make a small opening. Create something from what the soul reveals.
The angel's knocking.
Gather up these sparks. Illuminate the world. Out of small truths, big truth. After Rav Kook. I'm going to read it again. The heart feels a knocking, a spiritual knocking, a new and noble thought, listening to the voice of an angel. An angel of God come knocking on the doors of our soul. Make a small opening. Create something from what the soul reveals. gather up these sparks, illuminate the world out of small truths, big truth.
Yeah.
That's the one you kept citing, right?
I did. That angel's knocking. I love that. On your soul.
That's a good one.
But you know, the other thing that happens in this portion is this notion of, again, the Mishkan. You actually, I learned this from you, that Truma, the name of the portion, not only comes from the word Truma, which is the offerings, but comes from the root to lift, but it also comes from the Aramaic too.
That's how the Zohar reads it.
Right. And so the notion, right, the two worlds, but also this notion that the heart has many chambers, but it's one. It's one heart. It's one heart, and we have to. That's our lesson, When the angels come knocking on your soul, what does it teach you? That you're part of something much bigger than yourself.
Yeah, the Zohar reads it from the Aramaic root for two, the meeting of two worlds.
Right.
Like
dispels the terrible twos.
The psalm says,
right?
Like a city joined together. If we could only make the peace prayers properly twice, the world would be redeemed.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, stay tuned for us. We're going to take our show on the road this weekend. So look.
At the Laughing Bear Bakery. Yeah. It's always fun.
Look on the sites for when we're going to appear. And we're going to bring the ceremony live. I'm doing some shows once a month in some different locations. Shabbos and Shemayim. To do it at a bakery.
The Laughing Bear Bakery is a place that was founded by our friend Kaylin, right? Who is a Buddhist priestess and trains recently incarcerated folks to have a trade. And they make
teaches people to bake.
Yeah, isn't that nice? And they do all kinds of wonderful things.
Yeah.
So we'll be there. But also Friday is the day of boycotting, buying, all kinds of corporate buying Friday. So hopefully people will feel the intentional enough people not buying on Friday as resistance to the cuts and in solidarity with the people who've lost their jobs.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's Friday.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. My throat's a little raw. I was singing a song.
Uh-oh.
It'll be okay. And
yeah, I liked Rav Kook.
We're going to bring some. We're going to spread the light around.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fragrant.
So that's the other thing that Rav Kook says about this portion. It's Bezalel is in the shadow of God, right? The shade. And he says you have to have both light and shade. The light is what illuminates and gives you truth. But if you don't have the shade, you can't appreciate the light. You can't even see the light without Bezalel, the artist, the shade. So that's another thing Rav Kook gives us on this portion.
There was this guy that I knew in prison. He was looking for his name. He was an artist, and I said, well,
Bezalel.
Your name is Bezalel.
Yeah.
And when I told him what it meant, he was so moved by that. He Jesus, yes, that's my name. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night. And don't despair. Look for the light.
We appreciate you.